Hello students, welcome back. So today we are going to start off with a new topic, that is how we can use Visual Studio for making a web application. And for that we will be learning a particular web application that is supported by Visual Studio, and that is called ASP.NET. Now I have given you some notes on ASP.NET, what it is all about. It's a web server technology, that is uh, client server technology rather, where the server is actually your IIS server, and the clients are any browser that can support the .NET technology on it. So how do we create all these web pages, and how do we serve it these pages to the client? All these things will be discussed in the series of videos that I'll follow. So today is basically an introduction of how to create a simple, very simple our ASP.NET web page with Visual Basic. So let's start off straight away. So here, as you can see that I have tried to open this Visual Studio 2019. So what you do is that you create a new project. All right. Now when you come to this create a new project, so you already have a language over here. So I would be choosing Visual Basic, as I said. Okay. So project type, there are many are there, so you can actually even if you can go from over here also, like ASP.NET web application as it is written over there. So that's one thing, or else you can choose from over here also by choosing one of the this one, that is you can see over here. It's not mentioned of, oh yeah, there, web. All right. So if you go for this web, that's what, if you go for the web, so it will be coming, all the web application will be listed out over here. So that makes our choice very easy. All right. But if you make it as all type projects, everything comes up. So let it be that one. So now, as I said, I will be choosing ASP.NET web application. So let's choose this, and I say next over there. Okay. So okay, so that's a name. So let's say this is my first web application. So let's say uh, first web application. Okay, so that's a name, first web application. Okay, so it is now you can see where it is storing it over here, as you can see over here. Okay, so this is targeting the .NET framework 4.7.2. You can decide which framework you want to target, that also you can do, but that doesn't matter right now. So let's choose the latest one that is supported in this machine. So I click on the create. Now okay, so here are different options that is given over here, how to create this ASP.NET. One is the empty project. That's what I would like to do right now. Web form means already the web forms will be there for you. You just have to you build a dynamic web page using a familiar drag and drop event driven model. So if web form is what you want to choose, that you can just choose MVC, web API, all these things. These are the different ones. So let's start off with a blank one right now, just to show you how things happens. So let's choose an empty project. All right. So if you want add folders and core references for the web form, actually I do want for that also, so that the web forms will be going over there. Let's choose all these options. Okay, I don't need for the advanced option, so let me choose all these things and I click create. Okay, so that it starts to create the application for us in the background. One thing about the Visual Studio is that the Visual Studio actually when you will be when once you have created your web pages, then as we will be running, the Visual Studio will create a virtual server, web server, which will be running the page for you. You don't have to configure any server, nothing as such. But in a real world scenario, when you will be creating your web pages and you want to deploy it in a real web server, then you have to configure the web server according to your application. But right now, you don't have to bother about all these things, because Visual Studio will by default create a temporary or so-called a virtual server, which will be running in this machine itself, and it will be serving me the pages. So this is one thing that you have to be careful about, so that in a real world you have to configure the server. So you can see a lot of things has come up over here. Okay, so this is the first web applications and lot of folders and all those things. All right, remember this is a web application, that means it doesn't work exactly like the way you want in a Windows form application. Okay, so what I would do here is that you can see all these controls and are more or less highlighted over there. Can you see this? But if you look at this, like these are called Windows form, which are not highlighted because right now there is no form also. So let me just add one web form. Okay, remember that's a web form, not the normal desktop form. Okay, so go to the project. Okay, so I will just say add a new item. Okay, so lots of things comes up. So here is a HTML page. I don't want an HTML page. If you want, you can these are all web related uh, documents that you can you see this web. Okay, so all these are the web related documents which are over here. So I will choose something called web form. You can choose this is a bit advanced version, that is web form with master page, where you can create design your master page where the client page will be looking exactly the same as the master page depending on how you configure. So those we can do it later. So let's choose web form. The name is web form 1. If you want to make any other name, you just change it over there, click on add, and you can see these folders are there respectively. It will be added in the respective folders. Now this is what the code looks like. Now if you are familiar with the HTML background, then you can see that this is nothing like, it looks like a pure HTML code. All right, but this is behind the this is the HTML part. All right, but see one thing, the extension of the web form is ASPX. Okay, so that's the extension of the web form. That means if you are going to create more forms, the extension will be ASPX. Okay, so now I can do, this is the source code. Okay, so if you are very good in coding and you understand exactly what is happening over here, then you can write the code right away. All right, but let's say I don't know anything yet about coding. So what I'll do, I'll go to the design window over here. Now if I go to the design window, this will look something similar to what you have already done in your form application. But one thing you have to be very careful about this one is that this is not exactly the uh, Windows form, right? Like these are the controls that are available for dragging and dropping. Okay, so these are web controls. You have to be very careful. These are all web controls. Okay, you cannot put a all Windows form controls, like can you see that all these are Windows form control, you cannot drag and drop over there. You have to have the web form controls. So these are the web form controls which are already there. So let's say I will now here these are let's say I want to write a code, enter the first number. So I'm going to create a program to add two numbers as usual. Okay, so enter the first number. Okay, so now I want a text box. So see, here I come, here's a text box, I drag and I drop it over there. Can you see this? But I cannot position it like the way I want in Windows form. Like I want the form text, so text box over here, I cannot drag and put it over there. That's not possible. Okay, so the like I cannot put it like somewhere here in the middle. See, it's not working. Okay, so let it this one be here. So in that, so if I want, so I press here enter. Okay, enter the second number. Fine, now again I give a colon. Okay, then what I do, I drag another text box. Okay, so there comes the second text box. Now this everything that I did just now, if I go to the source, you see some code are automatically generated. These two code is generated. Can you see that? So that's the HTML code that is auto generated by your Visual Studio and IDE. All right, now if you understand all this code, and which I have already, I have given you a material that is a PowerPoint on how this all this code works. But if you are familiar with HTML also, you will get an idea what it is. So let's say I want to create another text box. Okay, but so what I want to do is that I want exactly now this break. Okay, break is what I want. So I will do this break means new line. Okay, in HTML. All right, so I will just copy. So I'm just copy and I paste it over there. There comes the break. Okay, now what I'll do, I will write in the next line. Okay, the sum of the, or let's say the result of the operation is, right? I want a text box after that, right? So what I'll do, see, I will just copy this. This is the ASP code. Okay, this is the ASP code for creating a text box. So I will just copy this. Okay, Control C, and I will paste it. Okay, but see, this is text box 1, this is text box 2, and ASP Visual Studio is so intelligent that it automatically renamed or gave the ID of this one as text box 3. Can you see that? I didn't do that, I just copied that. Okay, so now here, so this is the second text box. Now let's go to the design window just to show you what happened just now. So when I click on this, can you see this text box has come up? I wrote the code over there and it automatically created this one. But can you see the alignment and all these are not correct? That's because you have to know something called CSS, okay, cascading style sheets, in order to arrange the things in a nice way, or maybe a table and all those things. You can use those concept of HTML and CSS in order to design a very web page. Here I am creating a basic one. Now let's have a button. So I will again drag and drop a button. So I click and I drop a button. All right, so there comes the button. Now if you look over here, if I go to the source, can you see this code is generated? Okay, so now I want to now see in this button what is written: id equals to button1, right? Run at server, text equals to button. Now let me change this text. Okay, so let's say add, or let's say sum. Okay, now I come back to this one again. Notice this has changed to sum. So if you know how to code, then you can do it by coding also, or else Visual Studio is good enough that you can just drag and drop. Now this is the interesting part. Now what I want to do is that when somebody adds a button, means when I add a number over here and a number over here and I click on this sum, I want the sum to be here. So that's where this one, if you look at this, does it look like Visual Basic to you anywhere? It is not a Visual Basic code. Okay, this is a pure HTML code with a little bit of ASP added buttons and text boxes. Now let's say I go back to this one, our design view, and I double click like the way we used to do it in the form. All right, now notice what happened. Now does it, this one looks like your Visual Basic? Yes, this is a pure Visual Basic code. Now can you see here what's written? My previous one, see, if I click on this one, see, this is the one which is having the design part. Webform1.aspx, this aspx file is the design view. All right, and this aspx.vb is the code behind file. Okay, so this is where the code works. Now this is the button. What I want to do is that I want to have, let's say, dim no1 as integer. This is exactly same way like you write in your Visual Basic, right? No2 as integer, right? And let's say result, I want result as double. Okay, so sorry, dim uh, result as double. Fine. So now I want the no1 should have the value from the text box 1. So you see, um, this is, can you see this text box 1? All right, just like the way we have sorry, dot text. Fine, so I will use the val because I want it as an integer. So there it is. Okay, similarly I will go for the second number from the second text box. This is 2, this is from the second text box, and then I want the sum, so I want it in the result. Okay, so result is equals to, very simple program, so no1 plus no2. Fine, so now I want to display it in the third text box, right? So same like this, text box 3 dot text equals to result. Finish. That much coding. All right, so this is a pure Visual Basic code which will do the job of adding the number. Now this code will be run in the server. Okay, now let's come back to our form and I click on this one. Can you see this IIS Express? That's the means your virtual server that will be running in this machine. All right, so let me run this and you will notice something over here that will show that a server is starting. Okay, so it's compiling, building, and all those things will be starting. Okay, so let's wait for some time, it takes time. So there it's started. Okay, and let's wait. Yep, so can you see this? Now this is coming in your, can you see that browser? Okay, this is your Microsoft Edge browser. So can you see localhost? That's because my localhost, because this is the machine itself which is serving us the page. Now the server is starting up and serving us with a page like web form. Now can you see this has come up? Let's add up 12. Okay, let's say 3. Okay, so and I click on sum, there comes 15. Right, let's change this to maybe this one, sum. Can you see this? So can you see the here a little bit of rotation? That means when I click on this number and I click on this sum, you'll see something happening over here. Can you see that animation? That indicates that this page is sent to the server. Server takes the value of, because the code was written there, 12 will be added to 56, and then it serves me with a fresh page. All right, so that's what is the client server technology, where this is the client page which is sent to the server. Server does the calculation of adding two numbers and serves me back with the calculation with a new page with the value shown over here. So this is just an introduction to our ASP.NET, and the same way you can design multiple pages. I want you to complete this entire page. Right now I have already created a small one, so let's stop it. Okay, so I want you to do one thing. You go to this page. Now I have added sum. I want you to do subtract, multiply, divide, mod. All right, and you complete this page as a simple calculator. All right, so where I can add, multiply, divide, and find a mod. Okay, as well as subtract also. Okay, so thank you.